It looks like the services are talking to each other. Let's go again to MT4, connecting for, and yes guys, it's working. What's up guys, my name is Mike, I am a software engineer, algorithmic forex trader, and recently I've been living in Thailand as an expat or so-called digital nomad. For those who are new to this channel, if you're interested in algo trading, feel free to subscribe to this channel and join our Discord group to exchange ideas. And now let's move to the main topic of this video, which is me sharing my journey on building proper software for latency arbitrage algo trading. So let's see when we stopped last time.
Man, I still go.
And now just letting you know, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. In the previous video I presented to you that app I was developing called Arbitrage Manager 2.0. The app had features like adding multiple connections of MT4, MT5, C-Trader or Rhythmic. It had option to add multiple symbols for one broker connection. It was mapping the IPs with geolocation and showing the broker server location on the map with ping information. The code was very dirty and not manageable in the future, so I had to ditch it and move forward. Okay, so what I did next? My next idea was to implement distributed system approach. And at that time I was learning about microservices and distributed systems, so I was hooked to implement this into the arbitrage software. So what was the idea and design? I wanted to use Docker containers and separate the logic for independent services running in the separate containers. Basically, I wanted to create one service for MT4 connection, one service for fixed connection, and the purpose of those services would be to log in into the broker service and then stream quotes and send messages to execute trades. So it was like splitting the logic of each connection type. So then I needed a message broker. In a common microservices approach, you always need a message broker service in order to bind all your services together and let them talk to each other. In simple words, the message broker has two features. One is to allow services to publish messages or so-called event messages, and the second feature is to allow other services to subscribe to messages, consume them, and perform custom operations based on those messages. So we had two services for broker connection and a message broker. Those two services are pushing messages with new market data to the message broker every time there is a new tick. So what's next? We need now something to consume those tick messages, and I wanted some service to store that tick data for future analysis. So I made a little research on that time series databases, and I decided to go with InfluxDB as it was designed mainly to store time series data like logs. So I thought storing ticks data would be perfect in this DB, as for ticks you have only timestamp, account, symbol, ask, price, bid price, volume, and that's pretty much it. So when you look at this, the tick data is kind of an application log file. Okay guys, so let's start this project and look how it actually works. Let's start with the communication. I found this design in the repository. So this is the basic communication design of that idea I had. So as you can see, RabbitMQ as a message broker is in the middle, and looks like each of the services are communicating through RabbitMQ. Get asset data. I had an idea that to use web application and separate API to talk with RabbitMQ and then communicate with other services. Upload, remove asset data. Okay, this is for streaming, so the web app is communicating with RabbitMQ to pass the message to MT4 feed, which is actually ASP.NET application, and the same for fix. And when it comes to streaming, the, let's say, fix connection is streaming quotes to the RabbitMQ, and the RabbitMQ is passing that data to Telegraph, which is a part of InfluxDB stack, and actually Telegraph is pushing this data to InfluxDB database. The same for MetaTrader 4. So yeah, that was the small design I made. So now let's go to the repository. So this is the repository. I made some README files. Let me check this one. Okay, this is the basic setup. IP and the username, password for RabbitMQ. So I have repository for RabbitMQ for front end, but this one looks like it's empty. What next? Some service, some asset services. This is actually a Python script that I made. I do not really remember what was going on with this one because it was a long time ago. What do we have next? Identity. Let's see the proper markdown view. Requirements, login user, create user, delete user, send new password to email. Okay, so I think the idea for this service was to manage the users or the entire identity. Okay, we got one for indicators. Okay, the idea was to put stochastic, move indicators into this project, but actually it's empty. The same with transform. Transform was, let's see, what was the transform? Okay, to transform data from ticks to OHLC, to candlestick data. I had even an idea to calculate the logarithm. Anyway, let's move further with the projects. We have the agent, and also for the database and project to fix streaming. Some fix client I made, and for monitoring and MT4. When it comes to docs, these are the documentation. I also made small design for models in UML, but it was very basic, so I will not show you that one to do not embarrass myself. Anyway, and this is the main readme, right, that I made. So let's see what we got. Clone repository, get master, create. Okay, so it was like cheat sheet I made for myself to manage this project. And we got the services, so we have the feed for MT4, fix, RabbitMQ. Looks like I listed the Docker host in here for them to communicate. Technology, so C#, InfluxDB is written in Go. Anyway, so let's start this project and see what will happen. Let's go to Docker Compose, and I will use my Docker add-in to compose app. And right now you can see that the entire solution is building. Entire stack of mini projects. It's going relatively fast because I was building it in the past, so I have the images saved. Okay, and looks like all the containers are built. So let's go to the Docker agent. We have the AIFE solution running 7 containers out of 8. So let's see which one is not running. Some assets, no such file or directory. Okay, but what do we have? What do I want is to check the MT4. So right now it's waiting for the connection, but other services looks like are working. If we go to the RabbitMQ, something is happening. Let's see the agent. Yeah, it looks like the services are talking to each other. Let's go again to MT4, connecting. MQTT client connected. So now connecting to MT4, and yes guys, it's working. So as you can see, we have the price of EUR/USD coming straight from MetaTrader 4 and is publishing the message to the RabbitMQ, and from that point, let's see on RabbitMQ. Yes, the stream of data is coming, as you can see in here. Yes, perfect. So now let's see the MT4. What happens if I go to the address of MT4? Yes, what you can see, I just implemented small log file for the data. So as you can see, the data is coming, and now let's see the UI part, the charts, monitoring. There it is. So this is the chronograph from what I remember to visualize the data. Let's go to the dashboards. I made Forex dashboard before, and let's just pick past 5 minutes. And yes, the data is coming. As you can see, we have the EUR/USD for bid and ask price coming straight to the DB from MT4. So if I just refresh, you can see we got more and more data points. Okay, so by looking on all of those files and refreshing my knowledge, I can remember that the main goal of this project was to create architecture that could actually store all the market data activity in most basic form of ticks that comes from different connections to brokers, like MetaTrader 4 or Fix API. The reason I needed that first is that I had an idea to store all that trading data for later, to be able to play with this data for backtesting some algos, for future optimization, or for some deep learning models training to see if it can actually beat the market. So basically I wanted to store all of the market data in order to future optimize my strategies and see if I have any leaks. But at some point I realized that first, the most important thing that has to be done is to have a prototype that will be able to connect to a broker, ticks, send trades, run algos, and finally to start making some money. And then I could play with updates like storing the tick data or adding some more connections and stuff like this. So again, I suspended that AIFE project for further notice, and I needed to start proper project with main goal to finally make some money in the market. But more about this in the next video. That's it for this video. I hope you like this content. If you want me to share more of my journey with building proper HFT trading software, please subscribe to this channel and join our Discord community to exchange some interesting ideas related to trading the market. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.